Hi, welcome back to Homeschool Peace. I'm Cassandra. Today I'm sharing with you Master Books Elementary World History. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you a sample lesson. I will be giving you some great close-ups of this material, as well as sharing with you my pros and cons of this program. The first thing that you'll need is this teacher's guide. I like to think of the teacher's guide as more of a student workbook. The very beginning of the book does have some teacher information with the schedule for the 36 weeks. But after that, it's the workbook pages that your student is going to complete each lesson. After so many lessons, there are some review sheets, and at the end is the answer key. The other book is this big book of world history. It's actually a giant 15-foot timeline that can open up and has some really great facts and information, great pictures for the kids to go through. The other thing is this Noah's Ark book. It was actually written by a naval expert and engineer, and he doesn't just go through the biblical account of Noah's Ark, but he also goes through some computer modeling and testing, as well as going through sort of the principles of boat building. So let's go ahead and jump into a sample lesson. So taking a look at a sample lesson, I'm actually looking at the full week 2. So the very first day, you start with page 25 from the teacher's guide. The student, you can see at the top, has like world times listed with that theme of being a reporter, and it's about Adam gets a helper. On this page, you'll be going through some vocabulary words as well as some facts about Adam. Now, you could read this aloud or you could have your student read it. And you can see on this page, there are some missing keywords that are in the paragraph below. So to find the answers, the student's going to flip the page to page 26. Now on this page, this is one of the eyewitness reports, again, sort of going with that newspaper theme and feel. They're going to go ahead and read through this and go through this information and then flip back to their page for the day. And they're going to take the time to fill in the missing keywords to complete their worksheet 25. While they're going through that as well, you also want to pull out your big book of history timeline chart, and they'll be looking through the information about Adam and Eve and seeing the details. They could read some of the details on the timeline itself as they're going through their information on page 25. So now we're going to go into day 2 of the week. Day 2 has that similar feel, that newspaper theme, world times at the top. This one's about Paradise Lost. So again, page 27 is one that the student will need to complete. They're going to flip to the next page, page 28, and we now have another eyewitness report. So the student will go through this eyewitness report, and after going through it, they'll go back to page 27, and they can also reference the original eyewitness report from this week's lesson, and then go ahead and complete page 27, referencing their timeline chart as well. That is the end for day 2. So now we're going to jump into the third lesson of the week, and that's pulling up this Noah's Ark book. You're going to be reading this information either with your student or they can read it, but they're going to be reading pages 12 through 13 of this book. They have some questions that they need to complete on this worksheet, page 29. There is a copy work section. You'll notice that with this Noah's Ark book, it does have some copy work. So for this one, they're going to be writing down a Bible verse and completing that. And then that would be the end of all 3 days for one full week of lessons. Now, for this particular lesson I shared, is definitely more of a biblical historical account. And the whole book going through this is not just a biblical history. I'm sharing one from obviously early in creation, but as you go through modern time, you're going to go through exploration and reformation, industrial revolution, even some things related to the space race. So you are going to hit other historical topics as well. So because of that, I'm just going to take a minute and flip through this teacher's guide so you can get a feel for some of the other worksheets and pages that are included within this book. So now just taking a look at some of the pros and cons. So first, the teacher's guide. I do really wish it was just called student workbook. I feel like that could be confusing to a new user for Masterbooks because it is more of the student workbook pages. But that's just a small thing. But just taking a look at the actual pages themselves. When I was flipping through, you probably saw where there's, some fill in the blanks, small questions, things like that. I think that would work really well for, say, your younger 4th grade student or 5th grade student. I would question if it has enough material or challenging enough for a 6th grade student. So if you are looking for this program for those older ages, you may want to go to Masterbooks' website. I do have the link below. Check out the sample downloads that you can and just see, does that fit well with your student, because every family and every kid's different. The next thing that just to point out is it does sort of buzz through history. You're going from creation to modern times. So one would see that you really don't have the time to really dig super deep into any one of these historical events. If you are a family that really loves to dig deep and really go into the information, you may not like that you're sort of jumping quickly through history. But if you are a family who really is just looking for a program that's going to be a quick run through history, this could be a great fit. For here in my home, I'm actually going to be using this program this coming fall with my 3rd grade student. I'm actually using it as a gap year. I want her to be aligned with my youngest student as they move into Masterbooks America's Story together. So I just need a 1-year program to really still give her something for history for a year until my youngest sort of moves up into that level. So if you're like me and you're looking for just a quick 1-year program that runs through history for that age, that might be a great fit. Now, when I was looking at the lessons and I saw that it was only 3 days a week, I was a little bit disappointed because I do like doing history every single day. But if you're like me, the one thing that I thought about is this could work well for families that like to supplement. If you're a family that likes to go to the museums or dig into extra books or maybe do fun activities or watch videos, this could actually work really well because it would give you flexibility. If you wanted to do history every single day, you could alternate on those days that you don't have history and add in some extra activities or supplement. So that might be a nice fit for you as well. When I was taking a look at this material and this Noah's Ark book, I questioned if I actually needed it. I am glad I picked it up because it is tied with the lesson, so you will want to get this. I haven't really read through this yet, but it will be something that we'll be going through, so make sure you get that as it's with the lessons. The other thing to share is the timeline book. Some thoughts on it. When it first came in, I knew it was going to be big, but it's just really huge. Like when it's 15 feet and my kid just wants to spread it across the floor, it is quite large. So if you have an area where you're working that's quite small, it might be hard to open this up. Obviously you can keep it more in a book form and tell your kids don't open it up, but my kids instantly spread it out. So it's just something to consider, do you have the space for this book as well? But it seems really cool. If you have the space, being able to put this against a big wall would be really great and awesome to look at. The theme of it, going through more of that reporter theme, I think is just so much fun. And my middle student who really likes the types of themes when it comes to schoolwork, I know she's really going to be excited and work well with it. It is exactly what I was looking for. I'm happy that it doesn't dig too deep. And I wanted sort of a run through history, and I wanted something a little lighter for my student to go through. So hopefully some of these pros, cons, tips, ideas will help you if you're thinking or considering this program as well. I hope you enjoyed going through this material together. If you have any comments or questions, please leave those below. I'd love to hear from you. And before you leave, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.